All right, so jumping right into some weighted curtsies. Once we get comfortable, then we will start to move the weights as we stand up. Every time we stand up, we're going to bring the weights down and then back up to our chest as we bend. We're going to alternate the legs. Make sure you're crossing one leg behind the other and bending from the knee, keeping your back straight. Also making sure that our feet are shoulder width apart. Now we're going to divvy it up a little bit. We're going to extend out each arm, one above the head and the other the opposite of the leg that is curtsying. So you just want to be sure that you're keeping your back straight and the form is the same from before. Now this can get a little bit difficult as the arm that is coming out lateral to the side is going to start to feel heavy after a while, but just believe in yourself, keep yourself going, and know that you can make it through this. Truly, you feel like quite the badass once you finish. And I wanted to give myself a little torso twist because I could feel that my back was starting to tighten up a little bit. So I wanted to loosen it. And going into my abs, I want to get adjusted, make sure I'm comfortable, and then straight into the Russian twists with the same weights. Once you are comfortable, you can lift your feet off the ground in a crunch style. And be sure that when you're crossing in the twist, that you're crossing from elbow over the belly button each side. Make sure that your elbow is crossing your belly button. If you want to increase the intensity in your arms, you can extend each arm as you are twisting. And before we jump into the next thing, do feel free to take a break. I know I'm always stretching out my back because I do want to make sure that I'm not going to cause myself any injuries. Before we go into the next, which is rows, from this, you want to be sure that you are keeping your back straight. I like to keep my head slightly up so that the back of my neck feels straight to my spine. And then from there, you want to pull your arm back from a 90-degree angle. You should be feeling it mostly in your hamstrings, which is the back of your thighs up to your glutes, and then the intensity in your biceps as you're pulling from the knee to your waist. From there, going into just from the knee to the waist without the bend, keeping my hamstrings tightened, my glutes tightened, and continuing to pull back in my biceps. Next, I'm going to jump right into my arm workout. From here, I'm going to keep my arms at a 90-degree bend from the elbow, and I'm going to extend my arms lateral to the side from the shoulders, keeping your head up, your chin up, your shoulders down. You really want to be feeling that pull from all the way your back and your biceps. Then going into a shoulder press over the head, again, keeping at the 90-degree, not going lower than the 90-degree. It's okay if you come a little bit with your elbows. I know I have really pointy elbows, so it seems I'm going lower than what I am, but you don't want to come too low because then you will lose that intensity. Just be sure that you are keeping a slight bend in your knees so you don't hyperextend anything. Next, I'm going into an alternating press with my arms and my feet as well. Then I'm going to go down into a slight squat, continuing the alternation with my arms. And as you can see, when I turn to the side, you want to be sure that you are not overextending with your knees. Keep your knees above your toes, push back like you're sitting in a chair, and then alternating the arms. It is extremely important that you have a good foundation of your squat before going into any of these with the weights, because you want to be sure that you avoid any cost of injury. Be sure that you are squeezing from your glutes, pushing back in your hips, keeping your chest up and your shoulders back. And then from here, after having fun with alternating my arms, I went back into a static position, which means I am not moving as much anymore. And I am back into the arms, keeping my elbows at a 90-degree angle and keeping my wrists above the weights. Then from there, I wanted to keep the biceps engaged. I went straight into a bicep curl, and now I could really feel it in my abs. You tighten in your core and you pull from your elbows. Keep your elbows back and your shoulders in a straight line. As you can see, you want to also have some space between your torso and your elbows. And last, I'm going to finish off with, I'm going to do a little stretch, downward dog into the plank position. From here, I'm going to take my weights and I'm going to begin pulling back from my elbow. This is going to be great for my shoulders, for my back, and for my abs. This is an all-around great workout to keep everything engaged and to close out the entirety of your workout set. Now you should try to look at this as if it was the same style of a plank, keeping your hips as straight as possible. It is quite hard to not move whatsoever, especially with the alternating arms, but you're keeping your core engaged and you're on the balls of your feet. Then from there, I just went down into a Shavasana and to push back up to really give myself a great wrap to my workout. I love ending with a few Savashanas because it's very similar to push-up style, but then I'm also giving myself that downward dog stretch, trying to keep myself flexible and my body engaged. Now, trust me, I know these are not easy to do, but believe in yourself. Give yourself those last few pushes and then walk your feet up. Give yourself a little stretch coming up very slowly, one vertebrae at a time. And then I'm going to take the weights and use them as a heaviness to pull myself down. I'm gonna walk my feet out to the side and then sit on back into a split, a side split. Now it's very important to finish any workout with a stretch because you wanna be sure that you are set and ready for your next workout. These are just some stretches that I learned when I used to do ballet. We used them as a warm-up, keeping everything straight in your back and legs out to the side. I want to thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I really hope that you learned something new and something important that you can take with you in your next workout.